Hello guys, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Natasha.
And we were wondering,
are you free for coffee?
Welcome, welcome.
Hey guys.
Okay guys, today we are going to talk about postpartum.
Postpartum.
Yeah.
The fun part after the baby that no one warned you about.
Tells you about. So some of this is coming from Women's Health magazine. And of course from us, because we have experience with this.
Personal
experience.
So
we want to really break it down because we were just talking about how unprepared we were. So we're going to break it down. So like Natasha said, postpartum is a period of time right after the birth of the baby. And it extends for about 6 weeks after. Motherhood can be joyous, but the postpartum period can be full of sadness and depression and pain, confusion, uncertainty, fear.
Yes.
There's just a lot of emotions
involved. And no one talks about it.
No.
Hence the importance of this episode, really.
Well, for me, I didn't think at all about it. And none of the books I read, I mean, they might have referenced, might have been a sentence, like you might get an episiotomy or something. And
that was it.
And for me too, I was so fearful and concerned about just getting the baby out.
I think.
You just put all your focus on that.
Yes,
all
the emphasis.
I don't know what
even in cinema, that's what it's on. Like the woman screaming, get this baby out of the way. Like all of the references and that is really a really small window by comparison to weeks of postpartum. And for some people, it could be longer than just weeks. We could be talking a couple or a few months even. Postpartum.
Oh, yeah, especially to get back to yourself.
Yes.
Really.
Yes. And no one really, I don't feel like anyone really talks about that. I don't know.
No, I didn't. I was just completely unprepared. So there's a lot of unrealistic expectations surrounding, women giving birth and then coming back, especially if you're trying to breastfeed and then go back to work.
Oh gosh.
So there's a lot involved with that.
Can we just talk about how hard it is to go to the bathroom? No one warned me.
Oh, we're going to talk about
that. I'm like, because that's one, and people are probably thinking the bathroom. Yes, bathroom.
The thing is, new moms need support. Yes. And I think back in the day when there were multi-generational households, you had kind of built-in support.
You did.
You had somebody to help you with the baby.
And you had someone that had either seen it or lived it. So you didn't know what was coming, but they knew to tell you, girl, now you sit down. Now, hold on,
but we're missing that now.
Yes, very much so.
So that's kind of an issue. We all knew that having a baby was going to be tough, but we didn't know just how tough or what crazy shit happens after.
To me, it's kind of like
we're going
to
break it down.
Yeah.
We're going to break it down.
It's like mountain climbing. You know it's going to be hard, but no one told you there was a fucking bear out there.
Right.
You didn't know that part.
You didn't bring your gun. So, number one, your lady bits are going to hurt like the dickens.
Yes.
So every hole you have between your legs will have been traumatized.
It's going to be tender. It's going to be, because I want to
There might be stitches involved.
There might be stitches.
There's a lot of swelling.
Yes.
There's bruising.
And this is not, and I want to tell you, I don't believe neither of us have had a C-section.
No.
I didn't want to speak for you, but I've not had a C-section.
I've not either.
But I have a very dear friend, actually several friends of mine have had them, but I have a dear friend of mine who had a C-section. And in my head, I thought, this was years ago, and I thought, okay, well, your lady bits, that's good. She was like, well, no, because the truth is the baby still engages and drops and is ready to exit the body. So there's still a pressure. So everything was still swollen.
Oh, okay.
And that
makes sense. It depends on now if you have a scheduled C-section, maybe not, because you don't get that far.
She had
but sometimes
he was at a weird position. He's not a small baby. He ain't a small boy, but he was in a very awkward position, and it depends on the baby because he just decided
and the circumstances, because sometimes it's like you were on the way to a vaginal birth and something happens and they do a C-section. Yeah. So depending on where you are in the process, sometimes when it's scheduled, you don't get that far.
You may not get that far.
So, okay. I'm like you, I don't know.
I don't know anything about that experience.
That's surgery. So you're going to be sore too. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Number 2, you might get hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
FYI. And I really, that didn't happen to me till my 3rd baby. And I was feeling kind of good.
Guys, thinking, now I'm terrified.
Like, this is, I'm good. I'm up, and like a few days into it, and I kind of got this. I know what's going on.
This is a few days after you gave birth.
Yes, and then all of a sudden, like something down there, and you can't distinguish.
Right?
It's just all
because it's a
bomb has detonated.
Yes, it's a tender. It's a tender.
So you don't know what's going on, but something is wrong between my legs, and that's what it was. Hemorrhoids.
Guys, I'm terrified. This is number 3 for me. And I have not, but I was always told to eat very high fiber and to always take laxatives post birth. So I've always done that.
Okay, so that's what they say.
Yeah.
And it's veins. It's veins
but that can be very painful, guys.
And it can be in your vajayjay too. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yes. They call them something else.
And guys, this just goes to prove. But it's the same thing.
It's both ways.
And this just goes to prove you can have kids and still not know some of this because you should see my face.
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. So, in your lady parts too?
You can.
Oh, dear God.
Just the pressure. I mean, you think about so much pressure.
Okay.
So, just like, we didn't tell you, but with your lady bits hurting and also with the hemorrhoids, ice pads are good. Sitting in a tub is good. Epsom salt is your best friend. Thing.
Yes, it is.
Yes, because just like if you're an athlete and you have an injury,
but again, guys,
it lifts the soreness. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I want to say, call a friend. Do not be getting in and out of the bathtub by yourself.
Or your husband, your mom, your partner.
And this, I'm sorry, birth is not an embarrassing time, guys. It's to
get over it.
It's get
over
it.
It's, you know what? After you have a baby, so many people have rolled through there and looked. It's like you're just like, after a while, you don't even care. Like you want to look too.
And it's not the prettiest time that she's ever had anyway.
Yeah, you don't care.
So you shouldn't care.
Yeah, you don't care. Just you need friends and support. Yes. Whoever will do it, let them do it. And preparation H, that's a wonderful thing. So 3, you'll have a period. And sometimes for a long time, it could be up to 6 weeks. Everybody doesn't go that long, but you could. So don't be.
Did you ever go that long?
I can't remember, y'all.
I mean, you have grown kids. I never have.
I think so. Maybe not that long, but a while.
I never. Actually, I had one so
and
brief.
You will
concerned.
Need to use pads.
Or
you won't want to put a tampon.
No. That's like a major infection risk.
Yeah.
But the new trick that people do. I don't know if anyone did this when you were having kids, but like Always has their version of Depends and Poise has. So like they're basically disposable underwear.
Oh yeah, we didn't have that.
Y'all didn't have that back then, and so I remember.
So they wear that instead of a pad.
Let me tell y'all, it saved my life. It saved my
So what's the benefit?
life.
It's just more comfortable?
It is far more comfortable. It's more absorbent. My biggest thing is, pads have adhesive. And anytime that adhesive kind of gets stuck or kind of moves, you already ain't feeling it.
Yeah.
And it gets stuck on you. So I got the Always, it's like Always Discreet or something, but they're like Depends in that way because it's full underwear. Mm-hmm. It was the best thing I ever did.
FYI, y'all.
If
you didn't know.
And you go on their website and they usually have $1 to $5 off. And so everyone I know, I tell them to buy that. If you give birth in a hospital, be sure to ask for those. Believe me, your bill paid for it, baby. And they'll give you those. But because I give birth at a birthing center, I don't get them. Yeah. So I just buy the little Always because you're tender. The other plus to that is there's no laundry detergent. Be very careful With Scarlett, I had an allergic reaction to my own laundry detergent because everything is so tender at sensitive. That stage, so sensitive. And then that made things worse because everything swelled up and I thought I had like toxic shock syndrome. It was horrible. Ugh. Yeah.
Okay. You will continue to have contractions.
Girl.
Sorry.
Wasn't that the devil? No one told me this.
With second and subsequent babies. The first one, I didn't have it.
Huh.
But second and if you have more, you will have it for sure. And it's just your uterus going back to normal, shrinking back to normal. And especially when you breastfeed, if you breastfeed, you will experience that. So
Lisa, you've done both. You've done hospital and birthing center. And now and guys, forgive my ignorance. I've never given birth at a hospital. So this is me asking someone who's had that.
It was 26 years ago for me. So it's been a minute.
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
So midwives, to kind of help, I don't want to say combat because I'm not a midwife. So I don't want to overstate what I believe they're doing. But my midwives, they massaged my uterus. Guys, when I say massage, I want you to know it was not a comfortable feeling, okay? But it was to help with those contractions. And so
I think
is that just a thing you do?
I think physicians and midwives, if they see that your uterus on its own is not kind of going back,
okay, then
they kind of do that to kind of help you along.
Okay.
But if you are experiencing or you have those contractions after, you can use a heating pad.
Yes.
So that, probably get that ready. Especially if this is
baby, you're going to need a heating pad. Yes. Just going to buy one.
Okay. You will be scared to poop.
Yes. I told you.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest. I was afraid to pee too. I know that sounds silly.
Oh God, you guys. And if you fart, it feels like you're going to, what? You can't. It hurts to fart.
It does.
And you can't control it, y'all. Normally you could kind of suck it in and kind of do it silently or whatever. You just can't. You just let it rip.
So Lisa,
literally,
I'm in the bathroom with my midwife. I love Christina so much because they see at this point, she's probably seen more of me than my husband at this point. She has been in there. And so you have no control. Because your muscles, I think they're just so damn tired. You can't hold in anything.
No.
And she was like, Natasha, you have to urinate and you have to have a bowel movement. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, we have to know that. I don't know why, guys.
Well, you didn't have to have it right then, did you?
No, not this was. She was just telling me, you need this. This needs to happen. But I did have to urinate.
Yeah, you do have to.
I do have to urinate.
You do have to pee.
So, guys,
you can't pee
and
right
you can't
after.
pee.
Need a minute.
Listen,
you need a minute.
Everything was just an exit, and your body's probably like, oh, how do we reconform to what we were? So I'm like penguin wobbling towards the toilet, and all of a sudden I pass gas. And I was like, because I was like, how did this just happen? And she was like, okay, good. I'm like, what is good? You're behind me. She was like, I want to make sure everything works. That's good. Let me help you sit down. But I just was so, I could have just crawled up in myself and hid, And it was so embarrassing.
Because they tell you to, drink lots of water and eat bran. Mm-hmm. So you might be farting.
Yeah.
So,
and I drink,
FYI, it kind of does.
I drank water the entire time I was in labor.
Drink a lot of water, do Metamucil.
Yeah. I ate dried apricots. That was like my power up thing. But of course, that gives you gas.
You will be scared to poop. But in all honesty, if you do that, it won't be that bad.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And then Colace.
Like a
Colace is a stool softener. It's not really a laxative. It's a stool softener. COLACE. And on my second one, someone told me, hey, I know you're vegetarian and you kind of eat a lot of fiber anyway, but girl, that second go round. So I was like, okay, I was kind of glad I did it because when I did go to the bathroom, I want you all to know.
It's more the fear.
You're terrified.
Fear of it. Yeah.
Those first few seconds, you're more scared than labor.
You already had, 8-9 pounds fall off, out there. Now, it's like you're not trying to let anything else.
And some of y'all are like, I'm not going to have a baby that big. A spoiler alert.
You might.
Well, even if you don't, you have afterbirth. not everyone knows about that. I felt very deceived. I think
with
like,
me, you're so involved with the baby. You kind of, I didn't have any problem with that.
No, I know there was,
or that it wasn't.
Well, I mean, honestly, something bigger already came through. You're good,
right? Yeah,
but I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, I did know that. But I think
I had heard of it and didn't know how it worked.
Really, the second after you give birth,
Googling afterbirth right now
is the closest you get to bliss, I think, ever in my life. Yeah. So,
because in that moment
with the baby,
you really
and with
feel
your
nothing.
You lived.
I've lived
here.
to tell another day.
So
yeah,
it's
that's
all
true.
good. Okay. If you had a C-section, your incision site is going to hurt. Mm-hmm. Take the pain meds.
Yes.
Take them. And whatever they gave you will be safe for the baby.
Don't lift.
If you breastfeed, take it easy.
Yes.
Just
take it easy. Don't lift. Ask for help.
Yes.
Ask for help, please. Please, please.
Okay. Breastfeeding.
Don't terrify everybody, Lisa.
Okay, we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to be honest. With my first kid, if I knew then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have breastfed her, just because I was so overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Like, just all of it was just a lot for me. And, what they don't tell you about breastfeeding is that it does not come naturally for most people. Now, some of y'all.
Now what she means is the talent to do so doesn't come
and the
naturally.
baby doesn't always, you think everybody's going to know what to do.
Latch. Yeah.
We don't. Now, some of y'all, if you do, kudos to you. Yeah. But
and that can
be
cultural.
Times,
that can definitely.
You just don't. And then sometimes you don't have the support or the help.
Yeah.
Or somebody there that can kind of coach you through it. Now, if you do, great. But sometimes you don't.
And you're already dealing with so much. I mean, it sounds bad, but that's one more thing to be afraid of. Yeah. It's one more thing where you're
and I just didn't know how intense it was. My nipples bled. It was just, it was, yeah. Okay.
So I didn't have any of that. I just want to tell y'all. I didn't.
So number one, you won't have milk right away. So
you'll have colostrum.
The thing, I had read that, but when your milk comes in, that's a whole nother thing.
It's intense.
Your stuff is hurting anyway, and then a couple days later, just when you're getting a handle on that, like, okay, I can deal with this.
Like, and now
then you wake up
to my stuff.
And there's like 2 bowling balls on your chest. And they
ache like the dickens.
Oh my gosh, it hurts, y'all. And that baby's mouth, it feels like a stapler. I'm not kidding. It feels
I feel like Wendy is laughing,
stapler.
But low-key offended.
Okay. Okay, you'll feel like a milk factory. And because you are.
You are.
Newborns need to nurse 8 to 10 times in a 24-hour period, and it can take up to 40 minutes a time. Mm-hmm. And this adds up to a full day's work. That's a job. So you need help. You just need help.
You need help.
So if you can get somebody else that can diaper the baby, burp the baby, do whatever with the baby, and you can feed the baby, that would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, that is your only job.
Yeah. Your nipples are going to hurt. And like I said, your baby's mouth will feel like a stapler. And it seriously, it's painful. I'm not going to lie.
I love that you said like a stapler.
It really does. So, you can apply lanolin or olive oil after each feeding. And the reason you would want to use those versus some kind of ointment is because with the ointments, you would have to remove it before the baby would nurse. Yeah. And you don't want to do that because they are, y'all, when I tell you, they are so sore. They can crack, they can bleed. It's just a next level.
And people are, now that Lisa's terrified you,
I'm sorry.
I want to break down the reality of it.
That's the truth.
Yes,
I'm telling
it
you,
is.
That might not happen.
Well, you have a baby that doesn't know what they're an infant, a newborn.
But if it's your first time, nobody has sucked your nipples for 8 hours a day.
For 8 hours a day.
Nobody.
Yeah. And so, of course, it's chapped, it's chafed. So I loved And when I say loved, I mean, I still have one in my purse. I don't know why, but it was just that damn good. It's called Bam Boobies. It's like Bam Boobies.
BAM?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they sell it at Target. They sell it everywhere, okay? But I mentioned Target because if you can get it at Target, again, make your life easier. You can let them bring that shit to the car. You know what I mean? They'll throw it out there. But it's a nipple balm. And
you don't have to wash it off.
You don't have to wash it off.
Okay.
It's organic. It doesn't stain. It doesn't do anything. But I remember Shannon Jinks, that she gave me this this is a friend of my husband's. He was in their wedding. So this was really my first or maybe second time meeting her. And she gives me this kit. And it's all breastfeeding stuff. And we had told them, yeah, we're going to breastfeed. Not knowing what the fuck we were doing. Like, oh, yeah, we're going to do it. And
sounds like fun.
Sounds like, yeah, this sounds great. And I was like, what is all this stuff? It proved to be probably the smartest gift I received. Like, she had everything you could think of. And I think it's 10 times better than that lanolin. I personally.
Okay.
And it's inexpensive. It goes a long way.
Those three things you don't have to wash off.
Yeah.
So do whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you. They're amazing.
And if you can talk to a lactation specialist, that's great.
No, you have to.
Yeah.
And I will give
usually wherever you give birth, they have people.
Yeah. Well, I want to give you a free resource for that too.
Like I said, it is the best thing. But if you can't do
if it's not best
don't
for
let
you.
anybody guilt you into it. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Well, and I'm going to say this. I think the more educated you are on it, the better it is. Because we knew neither of us had been breastfed. So we were like, we don't know what we're doing. So we had really researched quite a bit. My husband had really researched. I mean, he was just like, whoa, your boobs are going to make milk. Like, this is amazing. And he was my total support system. I would cry when Cedric went to work. Because when he was there, he would help the baby latch. He would massage. He'd do all this stuff. And then when he left, it was just like,
just me. Yeah.
I can't feed this kid. Like, oh my God, is she going to live till he gets home? Just all the panic. Yeah. But
make an educated decision. Yeah. Like I said, depending on what else is going on in your life,
right,
in your postpartum life,
yeah,
you can.
It may be for you.
If
it may
it's
not.
Too much, no judgment.
Yeah,
no judgment.
Well, I have
I totally get it.
2 breastfeeding, I guess, resources. So one that no one thinks about, and it is completely free, and your income does not matter how little, how much you make. WIC actually has free breastfeeding lactation specialists, and they do consultations. Our baby was really small and then dropped a lot of weight, and of course that causes you to panic. I mean, we're talking 4 pounds 13 ounces. I'm expecting an 8-pound baby. So I'm like, what are we going to do with this tiny human? Is she going to make it? And like, that girl was fat in a month. And so I could call her, text her anytime, and it was all free. It was wonderful.
And your healthcare provider, your doctor, your midwife is a good resource for you.
Yes.
If they can't help you, they know someone
someone who can.
So,
yes.
Okay. Now the politics of breastfeeding.
Oh,
and,
Lord.
Although everybody heavily promotes it and, we all know it's the best thing if you can do it, but oftentimes the government doesn't really support mom's efforts. So breastfeeding in public wasn't legal in all 50 states until 2019, which blows
When you told me that, that's
mind.
insane.
So
that's like it being illegal for us to eat. I mean, really?
Right. Inadequate paid leave forces many moms to return to work before they can establish a milk supply, and 60% of working moms don't have a safe private place to pump.
I believe it.
So those are all issues
in bathrooms and everything.
that you have to consider before you breastfeed. But these are things to know. So if you're planning on this, you can kind of line up your resources now.
Yes.
And, get some allies at work.
Yeah.
Even if there's not, you can find a corner or somewhere and get some friends at work
yes.
that can, cover for you or, just to help you
know what your rights are.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can renovate an empty, kind of semi-renovate an empty office. I've seen that done, and it's really nice.
Or sometimes there's little used bathrooms. You know how sometimes like on another floor or that nobody goes in much.
Where you can lock it and sit.
Maybe there's a little chair. Just kind of navigate that now, because everybody does not have a good place. So, and if you don't, that would be something to kind of research and get some allies at work to help you with that. We know that babies are born every day, but moms are still dying.
Yes.
People die having babies.
So, this isn't ancient history. This isn't long time ago. This is every day.
And women of color are particularly
at a high risk. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you need an advocate.
Yes.
A partner, a spouse,
a doula,
a mom, a doula, a best friend, someone who can, because you will not always have your faculties about you during this. So you need somebody that can go to bat for you.
Yes.
Line that up now.
Yeah.
Get that going. And if your spouse is someone that just can't really navigate medical things, they might not be the best person.
Correct.
Find someone who is.
Yeah.
Find someone who is. So 700 women in the U.S. every year die in childbirth.
Yeah.
So research says that half of these deaths are preventable.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the symptoms? High maternal mortality rate because of high blood pressure, postpartum
preeclampsia.
Post-eclampsia. Right.
Is that
when it's
when I had it, they called it postpartum preeclampsia first time.
Okay.
Then I've heard post-eclampsia, which is really the same thing, guys.
It's high blood pressure. You can have it before and you can have it after.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to watch out.
And after can sneak you.
Yes. And postpartum depressions.
Yes.
Which most women don't go to their doctor for a follow-up visit until 6 weeks.
Yes.
So now the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, they released some guidelines suggesting that the mom's first visit should be at 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
So that way, if they're having any problems, they can spot hypertension, cardio problems. There's some stuff with your heart that can go on, and mental health issues. They can catch those things before it gets to be a problem. Like we're saying, we're trying to avoid these 700 preventable, oftentimes deaths. So talk to your doctor or your midwife about that.
Yep.
And if they're still doing the 6 week thing, you can ask, do you mind if and I'm sure they wouldn't.
Yeah.
If I come in at 3 weeks, I just need to run stuff by you, make sure everything's okay.
Yes.
Ask some questions.
Yeah.
So postpartum depression, was a study, and they found that African American women were more than twice as likely to experience postpartum depression than white women.
I'm not shocked.
So 6 months after giving birth to her daughter, Jade Kearney was struggling with postpartum depression. And she was finishing up her master's degree at NYU, and there was a scarcity of mental health professionals, and she just, wanted to figure it out. So she developed an app and made an online community. It's called She Matters. So there are counselors and mental health professionals who can support Black women. So that's a great resource for you to have. And it's a community. So not just healthcare providers, which is great and needed, but there's other women that can support you and to talk to you and to tell you, that happened to me.
Right.
This is my story. So that's an excellent resource for you if you're struggling with that. Now, I think every woman will experience to some degree kind of baby blues.
Yes.
You will have just the hormones and the all
because
the intensity
it's a
of this
roller coaster
of stuff that's happening to you. You know, some stuff is going to happen, but everyone doesn't have depression.
Yes. And there is a difference.
There is a difference. So like I said, have some people around you, some advocates, your spouse, your partner, your family, your friends who can help you, support you. Maybe they can tell when things are not right with you. You can talk to them and tell them, I'm struggling here. Right. And they can get you some help.
You don't have to have it all together.
No. So your hormones are going to go low, and your vitamins are messed up, just stuff. So you're going to have some issues. Yeah. So have that support system now. Get it now. Yeah. So when this happens, you'll have something. So we just want to shout out a couple of resources. We've given you some as we go. Already, yes. But here's some more. Some women, now this didn't happen to me, but it happened to my daughter, and my daughter-in-law too experienced hair loss. Mm-hmm. And it's the hormones. Yes. So some women will experience significant hair loss. So baby blues is a hair vitamin, and I'm told it's wonderful. Yeah. And it will help minimize that and grow your hair back. Or if you start it, I believe, I can't speak. I'm not sure exactly when you start. Is it like right after? I'm not sure. If you do it, there's a way to do it, but it will really minimize it or prevent it.
And that's always good because it's made for your healing body. Right. It's not the same as like some of your beauty stuff where
this is specifically for postpartum hair loss. Yes. So it's called Baby Blues. So we'll post about it. Yes. But that's one. FreedomMom.
FreedomMom.com.
Many of you know all about Freedom Mom.
Mom will save your life.
They make everything. Yes, now we
and
talked
it all
about,
works.
Yeah. They have everything. We talked about your lady bits hurting, and
they have a postpartum kit.
They have all kinds of kits, y'all.
Which, by the way, guys, when I was giving birth, the last couple times, the first time it was really just stuff for the baby. Last time they had a few items, and then Lisa's like, "Hey, they have a kit." So I'm like, "Oh, I want this as a gift."
Yes, you guys, you can get it at Amazon, Walmart, Target, Bye Bye Baby. Yep. Some of the things there's different ones, so you can pick and choose. Yes. But some of the items that are really cool, they have the upside down Perry bottle. So the squirt bottle is your friend.
Just look it up. Just look it up. Yes. You're gonna need it.
They have a nipple balm.
Yes, theirs is good too,
and they have a spray too.
Yes,
so there's some things. They have a lactation massager.
Yes,
they have iced maxi pads.
Those are the bomb, guys.
They have perineal healing foam.
Gonna try it.
And cooling liners.
Gonna try it.
And they have sitz bath tablets. So I didn't get to look. The actual ingredients, but I imagine there is some Epsom salt in there. They work for, the JJ and the hemorrhoids. So that's a good thing too. So that's just a sampling. They have tons of stuff, y'all. So we will post about them too. And there is a new book coming out in April by Amy Schumer and Christy Turlington Burns, who was a model. When you see her, you probably will recognize her. She was really the it girl, maybe in the 90s, I would think.
Yeah, you've seen her
But she had a very harrowing birth story. But the book is called Arrival Stories, and it is different birth stories from women. Some of them are famous, and a lot of them are not, but just different stories. And that's, with my first baby, I just wanted to be around women who had done it.
Yes.
And it was so encouraging to me. It was like, okay, they lived. they lived to tell the tale.
Look at you looking all normal and stuff.
So it was so encouraging to me, no matter what the story is. Some of them are horrific. Like my one friend, I asked, like, what's it like? And she was like, it's like you're going to die, but then you don't. And, that's the closest to it. It was like, okay.
The first time. I'm going to say, I think the first time, because you don't know what's going on.
You don't. So, but just, okay, you're here. You live. So that's kind of what this book will do for you. It's a good thing. So that's a resource for you.
It's going to be well crafted. It's going to be well written.
Yes.
And
you'll get a variety.
You'll
get those girls. I had labor for 30 minutes.
Yes.
And one push and the baby came out.
Sometimes that's what it is.
And no stitches. There's those girls.
Yeah.
And then there's the other ones. I was in labor 4 days and had a 10-pound baby. So, you're going to get the gamut.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Everybody has a different story. Every birth, each of your children will be different.
Yes.
And you just need to hear those stories. And in some weird way, it's comforting. And it's just a club that we are a part of. And we live to tell the story. And we're just trying to encourage you.
And we're crazy enough to do it again.
Right.
Because you have 4. I'm on number 3. So I just want to point out, guys, because sometimes I dislike the horror stories. I do want people to be aware of things that can happen, but sometimes you prepare for it and then it's not even that bad. Like I remember thinking, this went pretty damn well. I remember calling my cousin and she had a huge baby, and that was my biggest fear. I mean, just massive, like 10 pounds.
But surprisingly, I had 2 9-pound babies.
If you all ever saw Lisa, babies. She's way too little to have.
But this is so weird, but the bigger ones are easier.
They are. That's what everyone says. There's just
so much, so much force behind them. They just come out. They walk out,
Who was your biggest baby?
Teddy.
Teddy?
Yes, was the biggest. And Connor was right behind. Teddy was 9 pounds even. Connor was like 8-15.
Girl, same
I mean, he was like, just.
But the girls were small.
Yeah, 6'3" and 7 something.
Okay.
Yeah, so
my kids are exactly 1 pound apart, which is funny. Scarlett was 5 pounds 10 ounces, and then Cedric was 6 pounds 10 ounces, and they're 1 inch apart. So they're 1 pound apart and 1 inch apart. So
boys tend to seem
they're bigger
usually.
They're bigger.
But we just wanted to do this episode, y'all, just because we felt, you prepare so much for the actual birth. There's so many books and movies and things, and you just kind of gloss over the postpartum.
Yes,
and that was the part that was really overwhelming for me.
That's what people should really be rushing up, because they're going to rush up, guys, and they're going to tell you all this silliness about labor and, my cousin lost her eyeball and blah, blah, blah. But no one's telling you, like, hey,
about
after.
And that's such a long period.
It's a long period.
Natasha said, even if you have a long labor, it's not that long.
It's not that long. It's not
postpartum
6 weeks.
Is days and weeks.
Yes.
So we just wanted to prepare you a little bit, give you some resources, and just, you can do your research and just get your support system around you, get all your supplies. And if we can help you in any way, we will. We'll post all the resources that we've talked about.
We would love
Email
to share.
us if there's anything that we can do or point you. We are not health professionals, but
we're just 2 women who've pushed out babies.
But if there's, anything that's worked for us or that we know is a good resource, we're happy to share it.
Yes, absolutely.
So good luck to everybody. And we'd love to hear your stories.
Yes, I love birth stories. It doesn't get old to me.
Y'all, let me give this shout out. On Netflix, there's a cute series called The Letdown. And it's kind of about women, after they've had babies, and just the navigating the changes and challenges. And it's kind of cute and funny, and it's pretty realistic.
Which is good. Yeah. It used to just be someone screaming their head off. And guys, sometimes it's not that.
It's not that.
It's actually neither of mine were like that.
No, me either. Well, it was funny because after I had my first, and we were this is back in the dark ages, because my daughter's 37. She'll be 37. They put you in a recovery room.
Yes.
That's what they used to do back in the day. And there was this woman screaming. And I remember I looked at my husband and said, I guess she didn't take the class.
That's right, you did Lamaze.
Yeah, we did the Lamaze, which does help,
which
y'all.
Actually, that breathing, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, guys.
It's kind of funny.
That is, yeah. No, I remember thinking, like, I didn't even scream. Like, why wasn't I
so
screaming?
busy breathing?
Yeah, look, I'm so busy trying not to die. The first time, the second time, I just kept saying, "This really hurts. This hurts." And Christina's like, "Yeah, I know. No, look at me. This is hurting." She's like, "Yep, She was like, "And the sooner you get them out, the less it's gonna hurt." I'm like, "No, I'm not ready to get them out, but I want you to know this hurts." I mean, I said it probably 20 times. She's probably thinking, "I can see between your legs. I'm aware that this hurts."
You're in pain.
Yes, we've done this before, Natasha. So
hit us up, y'all. Let us know.
This was
we will post all the resources.
And guys, if we haven't shared, I'm expecting, if no one's gathered that.
So new baby
I am expecting number 3.
And late I have number 6 grandbaby.
I can't believe it's 6.
August, I believe.
Is it August?
Yes.
No, that does sound right.
Yeah, August.
Oh, you're gonna go help there.
Another Lolly.
Yeah, you're gonna go help there.
No, I'll just go see the baby. You know, it's my daughter-in-law, so usually, you know, you want your own mom to come. I'd
all the
do
help.
Whatever.
Put it on the record. Lisa, come help me. See, guys, you see how you solicit that help?
I can babysit.
But yeah, so this will be a very real thing for us as we kind of chronicle what's going on. Like as we post pictures, I will look different going forward.
And if we get new resources, new things going on, we'll let you know.
We will share them. Yeah. But trust me, we're speaking from experience. Well, until next time, guys, thank you. Okay, loves. Thank you for grabbing a chair and joining us for coffee. Please subscribe to Are You Free for Coffee podcast wherever you're listening. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and find joy in the little things. Until next time.